Okay. All right. So today we're going to look at selecting appropriate measures. So we're going to select the appropriate measures of center. Okay. So that means like which one is best to find the mean, median, or mode. So based on what we see. And then we're going to look at outliers, and then we're going to find that measure without an outlier. Okay. So our title for today is, let's break this down. Just put select the proper MOC, measure of center. That'll be our title for today. Select the proper measure of center. That'll be your topic for your notes. Okay, so select proper MOC. I'm actually going to write that over here. If you're on Zoom and you're here, so Serena and Alexis, you can stay because I don't have it recorded. So it's better if you just stay for today. So if I ever say MOC, measure of center, cool. Okay, so this part's important. All right, so to select an appropriate measure of center, we have to look at to see what's there, what's not there. So here's what I want you to write down. This is very important. I'm going to find the mean if there is no outliers. So write that down. Mean if there is no outliers. So if I don't have an outlier, I'm going to find the mean right off the bat. So why? Because didn't I tell you that previously? Like if I have really, really good grades and all of a sudden I have that outlier, that really, really bad grade, what happens to my grade? Goes down, right? So it'll affect it. So mean, we want to find if we don't have an outlier. However, if we do have an outlier, what's the best one to choose? Median. So if you have a median, that means you have an outlier. Okay. So mean if we don't, median if we do, because medians are not going to be affected. Regardless if I have a big number or a low number, the middle number is going to still be the middle number, so it doesn't affect it. And then, last but not least, if you have, you'll choose the mode if you have repeating, instead of that, repeated numbers, but many of them. So like if I have just 3, 3, okay, but if I have 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, maybe 4 times, that's going to beat it. However, you always want to check for median and mode first, or median and mean. Okay, outlier first. Okay, so that's the main meat and potatoes there. So if I have an outlier, I go with median, middle number. If I don't, I go with mean. But if I have repeating numbers, I can also choose mode. Okay, if I have a lot of them. All right. Any questions there? Give me a second to finish copying that down. If I go too fast, let me know, okay? Anything you good, honey? You sure? Okay. Here we go. So let's go ahead and find this here. Here's 2 parts. Which measure of center would best represent the data, justify your reasoning, and find that measure? So let's look at these numbers. So here's our first example, example number 1, okay? Let's write these in order, right? Because it's the best thing we could do. Let's put them in order. So lowest number is, I got an 81, 380, whoa, 482s, 82, 82, 82, 82. I think you know which one we're going to select. 85 and 78. Okay? Oh, whoops, my bad. 78 for the boys. Woo! Is that we're just sleeping? Not really. I'm still here. Okay. Sorry, 78. There we go. Okay, so first thing you ask yourself, do we have an outlier? Do we have a number that belongs with anything else? Like everybody's all kind of close together, right? That's so close, right? So do we have an outlier? No. Okay. But do we have any repeating numbers? Do you have anything that repeats? What are we going to choose then? What's the best measure of center if numbers repeat? What did you guys write down? Mode. So here's what we're going to do. Part A. Which measure of center would be best? The mode. Why? Because I have many repeating numbers. Okay. Part B, what is the mode then? So part B, what is the mode? Well, what's the number that repeats the most? 82. So that would be the answer there. So we're going to ask ourselves, do I have an outlier first? If I don't, then ask yourself, does any numbers repeat? Okay? Question there? Literally, you're just using a definition. Like I said, if I ask you to explain why, you write, because there's an outlier. Because there's not an outlier, numbers repeat. That's it. Okay, you don't have to write a whole full sentence. I could be technical about that. Okay, let's look at the second one, number 2. All right, which one would I choose here? Let's do, we gotta have at least 3 examples in our notebook, okay? So first thing, we'll put them in order. So we have a 97, 101, 103, 110, 112. Okay. All right. First thing we ask ourselves, do I have any outliers? That means a number that is extreme doesn't belong with the rest. Yeah. Do we have an outlier? Yeah, they're all pretty close, right? No. Okay, we don't have an outlier. Do I have anything that repeats? Any of my numbers repeating? No. Okay, so since I don't have any repeating numbers, I can't choose mode. So which one do we choose when we don't have an outlier? Which one's the best one when we don't have an outlier? Mean. Correct. So when we don't, I didn't even touch anything, just so you know. Okay. So we're going to choose the mean. Why? Because there is no outlier. That's all you have to write. Okay? So how do we find the mean? Well, I already have numbers in order, right? Okay, so what am I supposed to do? I need to add them all up and divide by how many numbers there are. How many numbers are in the set? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Divide by 5. Let's get our answer here. Okay, grab your calculator. See if we can do this. Hopefully it's not too dark in here. Are you able to see this a lot clearer than before? Do you see how I turned off half the lights? I did that on purpose. Okay, my calculator's working. Is yours guys working? I didn't know if it was too dark in here. Okay, was that 97 plus 101 plus 103 plus 110 plus 112? I got 523, right? Okay. So 523 divided by 5, and let's see what the answer is. Our answer better be around 100, right? Somewhere in that range. 5 by 5. I got 104 and 6 tenths. Did you get that? 104.6? Yep. Okay. 104.6. Is that reasonable? Yeah, because we're all around 100-ish, around there. So again, if we don't have an outlier, then what you have to do is then find the answer. So find the mean. If you write them all in order at the beginning, you don't have to double write the words, right? You're right the numbers. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, we've got one more here. All right, which measure of center is best for the data and why? So let's see. All right, we're gonna write these in order, right, first? Okay, so we have what's the lowest one here? I can't see it. 20. 20, then 30, 30, 30, 30, 35. I got a 50, a 70, and a 200. Now you can go with two different answers here, but I want you to pick the better one. So the first thing you ask yourself, do I have an outlier? Oh yeah, I do. Who's the outlier? 200, right? So I do have an outlier, yes. If you say yes to this, don't do mode. Okay, don't do repeat. Does that make sense? So if you have an outlier and you say yes, automatically, what are we gonna find? Median, okay? I know there's repeating numbers in there. Do you agree with me on that? There is a repeating number. I would still accept though, if you said that I would choose mode, I would still accept that. So why are we gonna choose median? Because it has an outlier, right? So if you say yes to that, stop. That's the one you wanna choose, okay? So, let's see, this is gonna be nice, guys. Is it gonna be a nice middle number? I don't know. So what is the median? 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, 1, 1. Oh, I do. So my median is 35. Now, if you chose if you chose mode, right? Isn't the mode so close to the mean? Median, oh my gosh, it's too many. I'm median, I'm mode, blah, blah, blah. If you chose mode, Miss Edwards would still accept it, as long as you told me why. So if you wrote 30 as your answer and you said because it repeats, isn't 30 and 35 so close? So that's still reasonable to me, okay? All right, let's see. All right, your turn. Go up to the board. I want you to do these ones. I want you to tell me which one is the best measure center and why. Okay, so part A, which one is the best measure? Why? And then find it. Okay, and I will write what you wrote in your notes. So we are going to choose mean if we have no outlier. We're going to choose median if we have an outlier. And we choose mode if we have repeating numbers. Okay? So I want you to do both of these, same thing. So do 1 and 2. So these are the 2 that you're doing, and then I'm gonna give you your homework and you're gonna get started, because pretty much I think that's it. Okay, so what's the first thing we wanna do? Put them in order, right? Okay. Let's see if we can put them in order. I have 37. Ask yourself, do you have an outlier? First question you're gonna ask yourself, do I? If I don't, then I ask myself, do I have anything that repeats? And if you say no again, then you know which one to find. And then do the same thing for the second one. First one should be easy. Which one's the best measure based off of your numbers and why? And then find it. Which one's the best to choose? Me, you, mode, and then why? And then all you have to do is find that answer. If you found what you're saying mode, then you write the mode. Now you have the median. Mode's the number that repeats the most. Right? Okay, which one are we going with for the first one? What are you guys saying? Mode? How many people said mode for the first one? Good. Okay. then find it. So if you said mode, then find mode. There you go. That's not hard, right? Because it repeats, right? So the first one you should have said mode. Why? Because I have a repeating number. And then what is the mode? The mode is 43. Is that what we all wrote? Yeah. Okay, now let's do the second one. Okay, most of you have that right. Okay, now let's see here. I'm going to write them in order for you, okay? So we have a 0, a 5, 6, 7, 9, 11, 12, 14. 0, 5, 6, 7, 9, 11, 12, 14. Okay, ask yourself first, do I have an outlier? That means a number that's really, really, really far away from everything else. If you say no, then ask yourself, do I have repeating numbers? If you say no and no, then you have to ask yourself, should I find mean, median, or mode? I want you to see if you can pick the right one now. Which one would be best here? Ask yourself, is 0 close to 5? Remember, an outlier is like my age versus your ages, right? Your ages are all close together. Mine is not. I'm real far out there. So I want you to see what you're going to pick. So if you have no outlier, you pick mean. I have it up on the board, guys. Stay with you, Mom. See how nice I wrote it? I'm glad you're looking at your notes. Fantastic. Let's see what we pick. Once you got that done, go ahead and find it. So find the mean, or find the median, or find the mode. You should be using a calculator if you're doing it right. Good, good. And you're telling me why you're picking that. Right, Marcus? I like it. Oh. See where, like what Miss Edwards just wrote? See where it said? I just wrote blank, blank. That's all you need to write. So keep in mind these walls are very thin. So, and our vents are connected, so you're hearing, I think there's, usually it's not this quiet. I'm not used to this. Okay. So ask yourself, do I have it? And then let's see which, now find it. Did you find the one you picked? Now find the mean. Okay, how many chose mean as the best? The mean? Is that what you selected, honey? The mean? You chose median? Okay, nobody should have selected mode, right? Because none of those repeat, right? Okay, so do I have an outlier? You should have said, no, I don't have an outlier, do I? 0 is close to 5, they're not too far away. So you should have selected mean. Why? Because it has no outlier. So this is still close and this is still close, okay? So then how do I find the mean? I add them all up and divide by how many? 1, 2, 3. Yep, divide by 8. So what is the mean of the data? I'm going to take a guess. Let me take a guess. It's going to be somewhere close to like 6 and 7. Am I close? Oh, it's 8. 8? Yeah. So it'll be 64 divided by 8, which is 8. That's around the measured center. They're all close. Does that make sense for that one? Okay. Okay. All right, let's see if I had anything else here. Okay. All right, let's do this example. Go ahead back to your seat. What do I do here? Oh, I guess is this my last one? All right, we're gonna do one last example, okay? I know we already did 3, but this one's a little different because I forgot what I did in the past. Okay, so let's look right here. Let's say there'll be questions, just so you guys know, there'll be a question where I ask you to find the mean median mode with an outlier, right? So this has the outlier, right? And then I'll have you find the mean median mode without the outlier. Does that make sense? Okay. Do you think I need to show you how to do that? So let's just do this one together. Look at those numbers. Which one's the outlier? I'm telling you that there is an outlier. Which one is extremely far away from the rest? By the way, those are in order, lucky for us. Alejandro, which one? 175, right? Okay, so here's what you do. The only one that's going to be really affected is the mean, right? Because mean changes the answer. It's going to change it because I do have an outlier. So here's what we're going to do, okay? I already have these numbers in order, okay? So if I was to add these up with it in there, I would do 175 plus blah, 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 blah. Add these all up, and I would divide by what? How many numbers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Okay, but what happens if I take it out? If I was to take this out, what would I be dividing by instead? 7. That's the biggest issue. Kids want to divide by 8. Okay, so if you take it out, divide by the one less number. So in this case, you would add 325 plus blah, 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 divided by 7. Okay? But what you'll notice is if you have an outlier, which one's going to be most affected by an outlier? Your average score, right? Your test score. Think about it that way. That's going to be the same answer for it all the time. Is your median going to change? No, not really. It's going to be very close. And will your mode ever change? The answer is your mode will never change because an outlier can't be a mode, right? So there you go. Okay? All right. So that is it for today. Let me go ahead and stop the recording.